Oh, stop closing up. Gotta let it go.
That's my bad boy.
Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
Gervonta Davis has leaked new footage of him dropping Shakur Stevenson in sparring. This revelation has sparked intense discussions among fans, analysts, and fellow fighters, adding another layer to the ongoing rivalry between these two rising stars in the sport. Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson are two of the most promising talents in boxing today. Both fighters have made significant strides in their careers, showcasing exceptional skills, power, and ring intelligence. While Davis is known for his knockout power and aggressive style, Stevenson has built a reputation for his technical prowess and defensive capabilities. Their paths have often been speculated to cross in the future, and this leaked footage adds fuel to the fire, hinting at the potential intensity of a future matchup. The leaked footage, which quickly went viral on social media, shows Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson engaged in a heated sparring session. In the video, Davis can be seen landing a powerful punch that drops Stevenson to the canvas. The clip, although brief, highlights the intensity and competitiveness of their sparring. The footage reinforces Davis's reputation for possessing formidable knockout power. The punch that floored Stevenson was delivered with precision and force, showcasing Davis's ability to capitalize on openings. Davis demonstrated his aggressive fighting style, constantly pressing forward and looking for opportunities to land significant blows. Despite his aggressive approach, Davis maintained solid technique, keeping his guard up and using effective footwork to position himself for the knockout punch. Stevenson, known for his defensive skills, appeared to be caught off guard by Davis's punch. However, his ability to quickly regain composure after being dropped indicates his resilience. Even after being knocked down, Stevenson remained composed and focused, a testament to his mental fortitude and experience in handling high-pressure situations.
What would be your hardest matchup? Devin Haney, Tank, or would it be Ryan Garcia?
Nah, Ryan, just X him out. He's trash. It's gonna be Tank. I ain't say it before, but I'm gonna say it like me and him the big fight.
The release of this footage has elicited a wide range of reactions from the boxing community. Fans of both fighters have taken to social media to voice their opinions. Supporters of Davis are celebrating the footage as proof of his dominance and potential to become one of the greatest fighters of his generation. On the other hand, Stevenson's fans are downplaying the incident, arguing that sparring sessions are not always reflective of a fighter's true abilities in a real match. Many professional boxers and analysts have weighed in on the footage. Some have praised Davis for his power and assertiveness, while others have highlighted the importance of not reading too much into sparring sessions, which are meant for practice and experimentation. The footage has reignited discussions about a potential official bout between Davis and Stevenson. Fans and analysts alike are now more eager than ever to see these two stars face off in the ring. By leaking the footage, Gervonta Davis appears to be making a statement. It can be seen as a strategic move to gain a psychological edge over Stevenson and his supporters. This action sends a clear message that Davis is confident in his abilities and is not afraid to showcase his dominance, even in a training environment.
Some of your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now at 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30 or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you, all that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you gonna get hit. What you gonna do when you get hit?
Shakur Stevenson has not yet publicly responded to the leaked footage. However, his silence can be interpreted in multiple ways. He might be choosing to remain focused on his training and future fights, rather than getting drawn into a war of words or social media battles. Alternatively, he might be planning a strategic response to assert his own position and challenge Davis. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson is prepared to have a conversation with Gervonta Davis about a possible fight that might happen this year. According to Josh Dubin, Stevenson's co-manager, his fighter is more than prepared to take on the challenge posed by his lightweight rival. It had been anticipated that Davis would face Vasily Lomachenko in November, following his victory over Frank Martin last month. Given that Lomachenko is unwilling to commit to the bout, Stevenson appears to be Davis's best opponent going forward. Dubin said, "It's all up to Tank. The one thing about Shakur, he will take anyone you put in front of him. We're here and waiting and ready to negotiate." It's uncommon in boxing to witness two highly skilled fighters in their 20s, undefeated and each a champion in 3 divisions, available to face off against each each other. Lightweight champions Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson are in the spotlight. Following veteran IBF lightweight champion Vasily Lomachenko's withdrawal from negotiations to fight Baltimore's Davis, the renowned power puncher is seeking a major bout. Meanwhile, Newark's Stevenson has recently become a free agent. Veteran trainer Teddy Atlas said on ProBox TV's Deep Waters, "This is boxing's version of the lie detector test. If they don't fight, somebody's lying." Representatives of Davis and Stevenson have engaged in at least one initial conversation about a potential dream match between two of America's most talented fighters, according to Boxing Scene. Josh Dubin, Stevenson's co-manager, informed Boxing Scene that the phone lines are open to discuss the financial conditions that would ultimately decide whether or not the fight takes place. "What is the obstacle now?" asked Deep Waters analyst, former 140 pounds world champion Chris Algieri. Atlas agreed, informing that if either fighter withdrew, saying they were not giving me the money I want, then you didn't really want it. Former welterweight champion Paulie Malignaggi implored, "This is the true 50-50 fight. People are divided down the middle on this. This is the fight to make." Algieri believes Stevenson would benefit most from the bout, especially after consecutive fights where fans departed early due to the inactivity of his evasive defensive style. Shakur needs all the top guys. If he can do to them what he's done to the others, he is the best in the division, Algieri said. Lomachenko, a 135 pounds champion, is currently on a downward trend. Instead of facing Davis, he chose to return to war-torn Ukraine with his family. His promoter, Bob Arum, mentioned that Lomachenko is interested in making a comeback in the first quarter of 2025. Lomachenko will turn 37 on February 17th. Algieri said, "I thought the match with Davis would be really interesting. Lomachenko is so tactical, so strategic. Yes, long in the tooth. How would he match up with the wits of Tank Davis? Lomachenko would push Tank in ways we haven't seen." Amid some social media criticism of Lomachenko for allegedly avoiding Davis, the cast defended him, clarifying that his withdrawal stemmed from a desire to be with his family. Atlas said, "It upsets me that we even have to defend a guy like Lomachenko, who's always sought out the best like a heat-seeking missile. I wanted to see Lomachenko-Davis when they were both in their prime. It would be a test of wills. Whose will would bend first? But now Lomachenko is older." Algieri agreed, "This is not a duck." He said, "We've got to give him respect. I remember being a 36-year-old boxer. If you're not ready to train, other stuff's going on in your life, and you have an opportunity to take a step back, I get it." If Malignaggi was to blame for the bout's disappearance, it would be Davis's failure to enter the fight 3 or 5 years prior. Malignaggi said, "I don't think Tank wants all the smoke. He was wanting a 36-year-old. Now's your chance to show you want all the smoke." Shakur Stevenson is a free agent, a phone call away. "I'm looking forward to Tank wanting all the smoke now, because he could have fought Lomachenko at 26. He never mentioned Lomachenko's name back then." The two Americans, who have never lost and are regarded as among the best in the sport of boxing, are now the lightweight division champions. Amid some social media criticism of Lomachenko for allegedly avoiding Davis, the cast defended him, clarifying that his withdrawal stemmed from a desire to be with his family. World-class trainer Robert Garcia, who corners pound-for-pound star Jesse Bam Rodriguez among others, recently told Fight Hype that he felt Davis was unbeatable at 135. He said, "He's unbelievable man. I think Tank at this point is unbeatable at the lightweight division against any of the world champions. I think he's the top guy right now in that division. He had a great performance. He has the timing, power, accuracy, everything is great, man. He's a perfect fighter right now." Just 1 month later, he makes a pick'em prediction about the fight with ES News, highlighting Shakur's skills to support his claim. Garcia added, "It's a good fight, man, cause Shakur fights really good on the outside. Very smart. I think it will be a very difficult fight for both. Right. It's very hard to beat Shakur." Many people involved in the sport are likely debating this issue. Fortunately, according to Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis, there's a strong possibility it will happen. Ellis believes the only reason it wouldn't is due to fear on Stevenson's part. Gervonta Davis's assistant coach, Kenny Ellis, believes there's a huge chance that a unification fight at 135 pounds between Tank and WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson could take place in November. Ellis believes that the only thing that might stop the fight from taking place is Shakur's own fear. According to him, Tank is ready to agree to the bout. Tank needs a new opponent after his planned unification fight against IBF champion Vasily Lomachenko fell through, as Lomachenko has decided to take the rest of the year off. Shakur could pose a challenge in negotiations with Tank because he sees himself as a major star, even though he's not quite at that level yet. Consequently, he might turn down any offers that don't align with his perceived status. He said that he would like that fight in November with Tank, so let's see how bad he wants it now. He's not with Bob Arum of Top Rank anymore. Let's see. The only thing that can stop that fight is fear. Huge chance, said Coach Kenny Ellis to Mill City Boxing about the possibility of a fight between free agent Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis happening in November. Stevenson, 27, lost the opportunity to become the undisputed lightweight champion when he refused to accept the offer Devin Haney made to him. Shakur often undermines himself when arranging fights, and he might end up jeopardizing his negotiations with Gervonta. If that happens, he could find himself back in the same position, facing opponents like Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin de los Santos. If Shakur decides to turn down Tank Davis's offer, it will be intriguing to see who he battles next. Should the Newark, New Jersey native choose to sign with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, he'll need to move up to the 140-pound division. Hearn's roster at lightweight is limited to Andy Cruz, who presents a challenging stylistic matchup for Shakur. Andy Cruz, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist, possesses all of Shakur's skills, but with greater power and offensive prowess. Essentially, he's an enhanced version of Shakur, making a matchup between them potentially disastrous for Shakur. If Eddie Hearn proposed that fight, Shakur might very well turn it down due to the high level of risk involved. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson's team is prepared to enter into negotiations with Gervonta Davis over a possible fight. Lomachenko's manager, Egis Klimas, has stated that the Ukrainian fighter lacks the motivation to compete this year, meaning he won't step back into the ring until 2025. Since the Loma fight is no longer an option for the end of this year, Davis's co-trainer, Kenny Ellis, suggested that they might aim for a bout against WBC champion Stevenson instead. Boxing Scene reported that preliminary talks have taken place between the representatives of Davis and Stevenson, though Dubin declined to provide any comments. Dubin added, "We'll know how realistic Davis and PBC's interest is by how financially viable they make it for Shakur. They know Shakur produced the highest-rated ESPN card of the year, so they need to come correct. It's a fight Shakur really wants. He's been begging for it for a long time. What Shakur wants to do, let me say it plainly, is to unify at 135. The logical fights to make that happen are to fight the champions." Dubin also revealed that they had tried to get a unification fight over the line with WBO champion Denis Berinchyk, but that they couldn't get a straight answer. The next opponent Berinchyk is anticipated to face is William Zepeda, who is rated at 135 pounds by all four major sanctioning bodies. The WBC has mandated that the Mexican fighter face Stevenson next. However, his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, has suggested that they are more likely to pursue a path with the WBO. De La Hoya said, "The WBO champion is a relatively easy fight to make. We will pursue that, and then probably down the line, rather sooner than later, we will go up against Shakur Stevenson." Given the rapid ascent of both Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis in the sport, it was inevitable that they would face off eventually. However, few anticipated it would happen so early in Stevenson's career. With Vasyl Lomachenko announcing his reluctance to fight until the end of the year, Davis's team began searching for an alternative, and Stevenson appears to be the top choice. Following his public criticism of the Ukrainian fighter, Davis's team issued a challenge to Stevenson, setting the stage for a highly anticipated mega fight that fans have been eagerly awaiting. True to his nickname, Fearless, he quickly responded to the call-out. He replied to the tweet with a mobile phone emoji, signaling his team to make the call. This is a monumental clash for both sides, truly a mega fight in every sense. Two of the brightest and youngest stars in American boxing are set to square off. What makes it even more compelling is that they have sparred numerous times before, each fully aware of the other's fighting style. This is a significant fight, as previously mentioned. For Stevenson, it could be a career-defining moment, as this would be the biggest name he has faced to date. Only recently did Terence Crawford urge him to stage a major bout next and disprove his detractors. Stevenson is only 27 years old, with many more years of boxing ahead of him and a continuous improvement in his skills. Crawford recognized this and offered the young boxer some valuable advice. Fearless and Crawford are close friends, and in a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Crawford discussed his next steps. He said, "Ultimately, I want to see him fight the best in the division. I want to see him unify the division and shut these guys up who are saying, he's not this great fighter they think he is. I want to see those guys get in the ring with him. If he goes through with the Gervonta Davis fight, he'll be playing right into Crawford's hands. At this point, there's no fight bigger for him than against Tank Davis. Both fighters have defeated every opponent they have faced recently and are undefeated. The anticipation of watching the two face off is palpable. Todd Duboev is optimistic that Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis can get into a major fight. The two fighters have achieved significant victories across various weight classes without ever facing each other, making a showdown between them highly anticipated and likely to draw substantial attention. Bout between the two fighters would be extremely appealing if they both complete their upcoming responsibilities, and Duboev has already discussed the issue. He said, "I hope so. I think it makes sense. I think those weight classes between 130 and 140 pounds are brilliant. I think there's a lot of moving and shaking going on there. I think they are all touching the weight classes and can touch all of them. Their size is good enough that they can drop in weight to lose 3 to 5 pounds and move up in weight to gain 3 to 5 pounds. So I think there's a lot of fun that can be done there. But we've got to get everybody's expectations to the table." Devin Haney's decision to move up a weight class and relinquish his 4 titles at 135 pounds created opportunities for all 3 fighters. Lomachenko secured the IBF title, Davis claimed the WBA belt, and Stevenson took took home the WBC championship. Although negotiations between Tank and Loma began on a promising note, the Ukrainian fighter eventually stepped back. He chose to stay with his family amid the ongoing conflict with Russia, as he wasn't ready to return to the ring just yet. A lot of people in the sports world believe that Stevenson represents the most captivating challenge for Davis, and that the fight against Lomachenko, who is 36, is coming at a less opportune time. So, is this matchup still possible? In a recent interview with Mill City Boxing, Kenny Ellis, co-trainer of Tank, revealed that Stevenson has expressed a desire to have the fight this year. According to Ellis, the only thing that could prevent the bout from happening is if Stevenson withdraws out of fear. He said, "Shakur said it. The only thing that can stop that fight is fear." When asked what kind of chance he thought the matchup had, Ellis was very optimistic. Stevenson has hinted that he is amenable to talks, and his newfound freedom should undoubtedly expedite matters. Asking over the weekend if Stevenson would be prepared for that unification matchup with Tank, Claressa Shields didn't mince words. Shields began telling FightHype.com, "You cannot ask me is Shakur ready for Tank," and Tank couldn't make it to the Olympics. Shakur went to the Olympics, so of course Shakur is on the same level as Tank. She added, "Now they both are great fighters, so let them fight and let them figure it out. But I'm always Team Shakur, and I'm gonna be Team Shakur no matter who he fights against." Stevenson insisted that as his competition becomes more formidable, both supporters and detractors will witness the best side of him. Stevenson told ESPN after his latest victory, "I want to fight the best fighters in boxing. That's how you're going to get to see the best version of me, when you put me in the ring with somebody else that wants to fight back and compete." Stevenson has stated that he wants to fight Vasily Lomachenko in addition to Davis, but it didn't sound like he was holding out for either match. He said, "If they don't fight me, they don't fight me. I'm just going to stay in the gym and stay ready." Denise Baranchik is the 4th lightweight world champion, following Davis, Lomachenko, and Stevenson. Roy Jones Jr. is regarded as one of the best boxers of all time, and believes his keen eye has spotted an issue in Shakur Stevenson's highly praised game that Tank Davis can take advantage of. Leading up to and following his triumph over Artem Harutyunyan this past weekend, Shakur Stevenson showed a strong eagerness to battle Gervonta Tank Davis, another reigning lightweight champion. Speaking on the All the Smoke Fight podcast, Jones mentioned that the WBC lightweight champion tends to back up too much when defending against punches, which puts him out of range for landing counterpunches. Jones remarked that Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter, but needs to improve his footwork. He noted that although Stevenson has good feet, sometimes they take him too far out of range to counter effectively. Referring to Stevenson's last fight, Jones pointed out that Stevenson was jumping too far back, preventing him from quickly responding. He acknowledged Stevenson's great eyesight and reaction time, expressing confidence that Stevenson will become a great fighter once he learns to use his feet differently.
Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter, but he got to learn, and I will hope he will pay attention to this because this is going to mean a lot for him. His feet are good, but sometimes they take him too far out of range to be able to come back and counter. The last guy he fought, the guy was a good puncher, so when he was jumping back, he was jumping too far back out of range to where he couldn't come back and get something right away. You understand me? And for the fans, it starts to look bored. He really ain't running, he just don't understand that distance. Somebody got to teach him, and I would teach him if they brought him to me, let me teach him, but he got to understand what I'm trying to tell him. I'm not trying to criticize him.
Right.
When you say something bad, they take this criticism.
Right.
No, son, you got to understand how to not jump. Okay, people know what the thing that dig the hole, the excavator, right?
Yeah.
If you move that thing back too far, you can't reach the job.
Right.
It's got to work, but it got to stay on the job while it work. You can't take it out of, if you work it with this, because this part keeps it on the job, the feet.
Davis, the WBA belt holder, concurs with Jones's evaluation. Speaking to Cigar Talk, he stated that Shakur's primary tactic to evade punches is to jump back, and he anticipates that the fight will be a straightforward win for him. He said, "Hell no, that's not my hardest fight. Why would it be? Show me something that he did spectacular. Show me something that he did outrageous. Show me. His power is not outrageous." He then added, "What defense? He just jumps back. You never see him slip no punches. You just see him back up from a lot of people, back up, move around. He ain't got no technique. Easy work, bro. I touched him with 16-ounce gloves on and he ran. Imagine if I hit him with 8-ounce gloves." Gervonta versus Shakur is on every list of fights fans want to see in the next 12 months. The matchup between these two undefeated Americans, each with their distinct styles and personalities, promises to be an intriguing showdown, culminating in a unification of the lightweight division. Former two-weight world champion Timothy Bradley has advocated for the bout to take take place, but acknowledges that Tank is the key to making it happen in an interview with Fight Hub TV. He said, "Tank's the guy I want to see Shakur fight, but I already know what will happen. Shakur is going to have to take short money if that's what's going to happen. They're going to use things against him. They're going to say you don't sell out any arenas. You don't bring anything to the table. They're going to say you're going to run all night. They're going to say everything they possibly can for this fight not to happen, but I think the fight should happen." Bradley believes that Stevenson will win because of his stronger defensive abilities. He added, "My money is on Shakur. I think defense wins championships. I could be wrong. Tank is an animal and he can fight, but he has yet to be in the ring with a guy as smart as Shakur and a guy that's on this IQ level. I picked Shakur for his defensive prowess. He's virtually untouchable. Tank has the knockout punch, but if he can't land that shot or find a way to connect, how is he supposed to win? Shakur is clearly on Davis's hit list, and he is expecting a knockout performance." Tank said, "I want Shakur. He talks too much. I'll stop him. All he's going to do is run." Sean Porter commented that Tank is currently the favorite, and it's difficult to imagine him losing to anyone. He admitted uncertainty about how the fight would unfold, but emphasized that it's the greatest fight to be made in the sport right now. Porter advised against being too one-sided about the fight, describing it as a true 50-50 matchup, possibly leaning 55-45 in Tank's favor. He also noted that Shakur can't afford to make the fight boring, as Tank will play to the crowd, which will be a challenging factor to overcome.
Davis is the favorite right now. Doesn't mean he's gonna win, but if they win the fight, yeah, he's the.
I never heard anybody call him Davis.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
what talking about Keyshawn?
He's the favorite right now.
Yeah. He's the A side.
It's really hard to see him losing to anybody.
Yeah.
That's
That's gonna be a tough fight for him.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shakur is gonna be tough. It's gonna be boring for a long time. Probably 8-9 rounds are boring. Like, I'm just lawing you.
No, I don't think we're gonna see 8-9 rounds of boring.
It's gonna be a law. They're both just
Got no clue
their
what that
ring
fight
IQ is just.
Y'all hate me if y'all want to,
What?
but I have no clue what that fight gonna look like.
Right now,
Sean, if anybody knows, Sean knows.
It's the greatest fight to be made in the sport right now.
Yes,
definitely
yes.
lightweight.
From a
I
standpoint
want
of,
Shakur to do more because Tank doing his side. Shakur, do a little more to bring yours up too. Tank's over there waiting on you.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.